think Manchester United is the biggest expectancy at any club.
But if you mention him in the same name as Jaap Stam, and he could be half the player that Jaap Stam was for United, they've got a player on their hands.
Manchester United have got huge pressure on their players.
Certainly seems like good business from Ajax if they only paid 7 million. Wow. And now they're rumoured to be getting 55 million for his services. A move to the Netherlands, having played out in Argentina. Is this an issue that Manchester United really needed to get right going into this new season? I'm talking about strengthening their defence.
I think yes. They had a lot of injuries last year, and it was very inconsistent, and the defence changed too much probably. You know, the fullbacks changed at times. Luke Shaw's had his injury issues every now and then. And I think new faces coming into the dressing room's always a good thing. You know, so I certainly... And Ten Hag looks as though he's dipping into the market that he knows particularly well. So there's that as a plus. But coming to these shores is never easy. You know, and as we just heard there was that question mark about coming to the Premier League. But if you mention him in the same name as Jaap Stam, and he can be half the player that Jaap Stam was for United, they've got a player on their hands.
I mean, you look at what he's done in his career so far. He's won the Dutch Super Cup. He's won, obviously, the league in the Netherlands as well, and was also voted the Player of the Year for Ajax last season. But Stuart does raise the point about the very different leagues. Yeah. Now, when you look at the stats for Manchester United last season, of all the teams in the top 7, they conceded the most amount of goals.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
It was an issue that needed to be addressed. And going back to a player that Erik ten Hag knows well, does that make sense? But also, is there slight trepidation because it's a very different league that he knows him from?
A little bit of both. I think you know the player, you know the players that you're looking at now at Manchester United. He's been in the door, 2 or 3 weeks. He's had a look at what they've got. And, you can tell levels. He's worked with Martínez. He realises Martínez is capable of being better than what he's already got. So he's gone back into Ajax. He said, can I take him? He's an Argentinian international. He's only 5'9", but he's ferocious in the tackle, as Marcel just mentioned there. I think he reads the game well. He can play centre midfielder, so technically you would expect him to be very good, especially playing for Ajax anyway. So I think he'll be a good signing. It's just whether he really has got the quality. So at times when you've got to win a tackle, yeah, fine, that's fine. But the players are so clever in this league that if you go into one of them tackles and you throw yourselves into it and they move the ball and you take him out and you're leaving the pitch, that won't be... I don't think Erik ten Hag would want that. So it's getting the balance right. It's hitting the ground running with Manchester United. There's huge expectancy. Not like most clubs, actually. There's probably Manchester City at the moment. Yeah, there's big expectancy in Liverpool. But apart from that, I think Manchester United is the biggest expectancy at any club. And I remember Andy Cole telling me when he went there from Newcastle, he scored 50 goals for Newcastle, went to Manchester United, and he had a real difficult opening 6 months at the football club. And he told me, Trev, listen, I weren't sure whether I was going to have the character and the personality to be able to continue at Manchester United. And obviously he got through that and went on to be a huge success. But Manchester United have got huge pressure on their players.
Trev makes a really good point there. Sometimes it's not your ability, it's your personal... If you've got the personality to handle the big stage, I'm playing for Manchester United, whichever way you look at it, you're on the spotlight there. It's easy. It's tougher to play there than it probably is at other clubs further down the food chain, let's say. And he might be signing character as well with this kid. If he knows him, he'll bring him in the door.
South American boys as well usually got a real strong character, haven't they? And self-belief.
Which why, in a way, for Martínez, it makes sense for him to come to Old Trafford when he knows the manager already. So the manager's going to help him.
Yeah,
and he won Player of the Year more than others, but yeah.
He won Player of the Year, so he knows how the manager works. They've obviously got a fantastic relationship. And he just trusts that he's better than what he's already got at Manchester United. And you look at Varane, he didn't play an awful lot of football last year. I think the jury was still out with his performances when he did play for Manchester United. Like we said earlier, Manchester United conceded a hell of a lot of goals. So it's an area where they need to improve, and I think this is an improvement on what they already had. But my only concern is, and I said it before, he's 5'9", he's playing against Haaland, who he can't wait to play against Manchester United, which he said in one of his when he was released at the club, cannot wait to play against Manchester United. If this guy tries to, he's 5'9", Haaland's 6'4" or something. I mean, it's a massive mismatch, but he's played against him before and Haaland didn't score, so very interesting to see how that goes.
Maybe he has the measure of him already. Maybe he has him already in his pocket, is what we'll say with that one. It's a bit ominous that he's called the Butcher of Amsterdam. I don't know about that.
Maybe he's in the meat industry. You know?
Abattoir.
You know?
I don't know. Well, we're talking about the Butcher of Amsterdam. We've got Psycho here, so you know. I mean,
that's not a good coupling. No. That is not a good couple.
I'm known as the fairy cake of London these days, actually. You know?
You've mellowed.
Mellowed it.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Did you like the name Psycho that people gave?
It's a bit of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't try and live up to it, and I was playing against him over there. You know?
Yeah, well, I know. I've heard that you really went at it, you two, when it was on the pitch. But it's a bit like Mad Dog. Martin Allen never liked being called Mad Dog in his presence, but that was the nickname that he'd earned. And I suddenly thought, should I be calling you Psycho? Maybe you don't like it. You don't mind.
Nonplussed.
I was
really.
about to say,
Nonplussed.
really. Right, okay, but it's good news for Manchester United. They continue to strengthen, it seems, and a defender is coming in, Lisandro Martínez, €55 million deal. That is what we are hearing, and it's until 2027 that he'll be signing a contract at the club. Once we get confirmation, we'll bring it to you first here on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.